Amazing stories of survival after the storm strike.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed.
From the air and on the ground.
Unbelievable. Like the Wizard of Oz movie.
We're with the victims and the National Weather Service as they survey the damage in the tornado disaster zone.
Plus a former officer on the other side of the law. Why he and his girlfriend are in trouble after a sex sting.
And cooking up trouble with kids inside, we're there for a big bust. A lot to cover tonight.
Channel 11 News at 5 starts right now.
Live, local, late breaking, broadcasting in high definition. Channel 11 News starts with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
It's been a devastating 24 hours since the storm strike. Images of a twister like the one behind me right now being replaced by new pictures and video. And Darieth has that. Darieth?
And David, today we really had a chance to take a good look at the damage. You can see here from Chopper 11, home after home with roofs ripped off, yards and pools torn to pieces. The real power of Mother Nature at work. The cleanup now is just beginning in Westmoreland County. And here is the very latest. Today, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF2 tornado with 120-mile-per-hour winds hit Westmoreland County. At least 90 homes are either damaged or destroyed. There are reports of injuries, but most are minor. And we're waiting for the Hempfield School District to decide if there will be class tomorrow. The storm tore a path through several communities in Westmoreland County. And tonight we're on the scene of several of the hardest hit places. From the community of Wilton through Arona, and finally on to Fort Allen in Hempfield Township. We're hearing different stories of loss and survival. We have live Team 11 coverage tonight, beginning with Channel 11's Courtney Brennan in the heart of that Fort Allen neighborhood where so many homes have been damaged and destroyed. Courtney?
Darieth, today was our first day to get a look at the full scope of this damage. You can see the enormous tree that was uprooted behind me basically demolished this gentleman's yard, and his home right there is cut in half. His kitchen and his living room exposed to the elements. As we made our way down Fosterville Road here in Fort Allen, every home told a different story. This one to my left, the entire top half of the home is missing. Across the street, that house is missing its roof, and the massive cleanup effort that started this morning will continue for weeks to come.
This actually is our kitchen here, and our dining room and our living room pretty much got the worst of it.
Jason Dilley and his wife were supposed to move into this house on Fosterville Road this weekend, but only half of their home is still standing.
They were pretty much all new, about a year old. All of our appliances are pretty much gone now, and a lot of our wedding gifts and everything that we got from our wedding.
The tornado split the home in two. Their furniture is now a pile of wood chips. Their bathroom is unrecognizable. And yet the 3 bedrooms in the back are spotless.
I don't even think there's a crack in the wall. It's simply amazing.
What was also amazing and very scary were the enormous trees uprooted in the backyard. They smashed everything in their path.
It happened to fall into our pool, and it took out our whole entire fence and our shed back here. So it pretty much got everything we owned.
The Dilleys are just one of many families in this Fort Allen neighborhood digging out after this tornado. Donna Ross and her daughter were home when it hit. They took us inside for a quick tour.
And it just split the walls here. That's knocked everything boom, came forward on the walls.
The damage was extensive, but not one life was lost in this neighborhood. No one was even hurt. But the destruction will be costly, and for some, the sheer memory of that tornado will haunt them for quite a while.
I actually didn't even want to come back. I mean, it's horrible to say because we have the least amount of damage compared to everybody around us. But yeah, it's indescribable. I mean, just rubble everywhere.
And we are standing inside that home that we showed you in the piece. I am in the Dilley's kitchen that is exposed to the elements. Their entire property is basically destroyed, as well as the properties on the left and the right of them. They told me earlier today they hope to bulldoze this property if they can, have a fresh start and build a brand new home. Reporting live in Fort Allen, Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
And let's get you another perspective here. You can see just how bad the situation is in Fort Allen. If you compare images taken before and after the tornado, in this case, the roof is gone, and you can see inside the top floor of the house. Just amazing. Now take a look at two homes on Fosterville Road and the damage they suffered. Debris covers the yard, and even the backyard pool is smashed up. And take a look at another one of the homes missing a roof. We used a satellite image to get the before pictures. Finally, a look at what happened to several homes along that same road. The home on the right doesn't look like it had too much damage compared to its next door neighbor.
And the cleanup is on at nearby Hempfield High School. All schools in that district were closed today. School leaders were expected to make a decision about school tomorrow by 4 today, but that hasn't happened as of yet. Students who were at the high school when the storm hit posted this video on YouTube. They watched the funnel get very close before taking cover inside the building. We're taking a look at more of the damage at the school in our next half an hour, so don't go away. Before hitting Fort Allen, the tornado ripped through the community of Rilton. Some people there lost their homes, but tell us they're lucky to have their lives.
Something you see on TV that you'd never imagine in a million years would happen to you. And people take life for granted.
This woman's entire family escaped without injury, but their home, as you see, is a total loss. And today we learned just how powerful and big this tornado was. Channel 11 Scott Harbaugh walked with the National Weather Service as they determined the twister's path.
Officially an EF2 tornado on the Fujita scale that ranges from 0 to 5. Maximum sustained winds with this storm, 120 miles per hour. You can see the devastating damage it did in its 6 to 7 mile path. Now, it was sporadic. It did go up and down a little bit, but basically from Rilton all the way to here in Fort Allen, it was a destructive tornado. Fred McMullen from the National Weather Service says not all damage like this necessarily means it was a tornado, but this one had some telltale signs.
What we do is we look for like projectiles. Do we see things in places they don't belong? Do we see twigs stuck in mortar, 2x4s wedged in the ground that we can't pull out by ourselves? And if we see that, that's the first key that we see that we're dealing with a potential tornado. So all the trees kind of curve going the same direction, you know, from right to left. And what we see that here with the trees kind of all coming this direction here.
And this is not a flat area. This twister went up hills, through valleys, and across the Pennsylvania Turnpike. The great reminder that anyone can experience a tornado.
You never move from Mother Nature, never move from a tornado. If you're in a valley or on a ridgetop, again, you know, both places are susceptible to be damaged by a potential tornado.
So the official number is 6 to 7 miles in length and more than 3 football fields wide at its widest point. And of course, 90 homes damaged, 30 of those completely destroyed. In Westmoreland County, Scott Harbaugh, Channel 11 News.
Our Team 11 coverage continues now with the aftermath near the town of Arona. Target 11 investigator Rick Earl discovered that at least 5 people there were hurt in the storm. One of them has an amazing story to tell us tonight. Rick joins us live with this survival story, and it's one you'll see only on 11. Rick.
Yeah, Darieth, everywhere you turn here, there's destruction and debris. Take a look to my left. You can see lumber and trees down littering this yard. There's also some insulation here, some shingles as well, all over this place. Take a look to my right here. You can see this is actually a roof that was blown off of a building about 50 yards behind us. And if you look right across the street right there, you can see that trailer. It actually flipped over. Now, earlier today, I talked to a man who was inside a trailer just like that when the tornado blew him away.
I'm okay. I got very sore, hips and just stiff, real stiff.
74-year-old Joe Bukowski is recovering at his home in Arona after a harrowing experience Wednesday afternoon. Take a look in his driveway, the back of his pickup truck several feet in the air, and the camping trailer connected to the pickup now on its side. Bukowski was actually inside the trailer getting it ready for vacation when the tornado blew in and flipped it.
So the floor became the wall, and I went down and hit the cabinets. I flew across the trailer.
His wife Ruth rode out the storm inside the pickup truck.
The truck was rocking back and forth. I thought it was going to flip too. It didn't, luckily, but there was siding and shingles and chairs. Honest to God, I never saw anything like it in my life.
Ruth said she tried to get her husband out but couldn't reach him, so she called 911. Rescue crews had a difficult time getting to this area because of all of the trees that were knocked down. 2.5 hours later, they finally made it here. They pulled him to safety by cutting a hole in the roof of the trailer. Bukowski believes he's lucky that the trailer was attached to the pickup truck.
I could have kept rolling. It's amazing. 5,000, 6,000 pound trailer, you know, and then you're just standing there and it just picks it right up and now it turns it over like nothing.
Bukowski suffered a fractured vertebrae. He won't be going on vacation anytime soon, but says he will be okay.
I've never been near a tornado, you know, so it's something I don't want to be near again.
And Joe Bukowski was rushed to Westmoreland Regional Hospital last night where he was treated for some scrapes and bruises. Today, of course, he's recovering at home, and he tells me he's not so sure if he's going to get back into that trailer. That is the very latest reporting live near Arona. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
Cooking up trouble. We're there as police in protective suits raid a suspected meth lab. It was a danger to neighbors, but what's worse is that police say children were living inside of the home. Channel 11's Alan Jennings shows us what officers found in this morning in Apollo.
This is the house right here, 508 North 6th Street in quiet Apollo. Narcotics investigators spent hours carting out all kinds of chemicals and all kinds of drugs. Here they are in protective suits, bagging and tagging the evidence. They're suited up to prevent skin contact and inhalation dangers from what investigators call a mid to high level meth lab. The alleged mastermind of the operation, 39-year-old Brandon Watterson. One neighbor, fearing for her safety, agreed to talk if we protected her identity. If there were drugs in there, you're obviously glad they got them out of there.
Yep, because of my grandchildren, yeah.
When cops moved in to arrest Brandon Watterson, they found a child in the house with him.
We had a 4-year-old juvenile who was taken into protective custody and is currently in the custody of Children and Youth Services.
The DA told us the house was a cover for an ongoing meth lab and credited the state attorney general's office for lending its clandestine lab task force to help make the bust.
Investigation is ongoing, and we anticipate additional arrests as the investigation goes forward.
Brandon Watterson's new home for now is the Armstrong County Jail. In Apollo, Alan Jennings, Channel 11 News.
And more details now on another meth lab bust earlier this month in Armstrong County. Back on March 4th, officers raided a home in Parks Township. Investigators say they learned about the operation involved in today's bust through evidence gathered in this case. 2 children lived in the home and several people were arrested.
One person's dead after a house fire in Venango County. According to our partners at the Derrick, the fire began early this morning on Cooper Drive in Oil City. A Channel 11 News viewer emailed us this video of flame shooting from the home. A second person was hurt.
Police arrest a suspect accused of calling in fake prescriptions in Kennedy Township. This is a photo of her. We're waiting for police to release her name. They say she used a doctor's name to call in painkiller prescriptions to this pharmacy. Police interviewed her in January, but she later got away. She claimed she was picking up the prescriptions for her sister.
It's not your typical burglary bust. Police say someone stole a baby monitor and disposable diapers 2 weeks ago from a home in Derry Township, Westmoreland County. The items are estimated at about $200. Right now, police have no leads.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast in high definition.
Good evening. Much quieter out there right now compared to yesterday, when right now during this time we were going through severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, and now it's much quieter. We don't have severe weather in the forecast tonight. We don't have the snow like we saw this morning. We have decreasing clouds and quiet conditions. You can see on Storm Tracker, Doppler 11 radar, that we're not looking at any precipitation just yet. We're going to get a break for at least a couple of days until we head toward the weekend. What we're looking at, clouds on the decrease tonight. Much colder weather, though. We're looking at lows in the teens and highs only in the 30s. Then I'm tracking that next storm system, giving us a chance at rain and snow late Saturday into Sunday. So we're going to keep that severe risk down to the low side with those decreasing clouds and quieter conditions. Certainly some very chilly temperatures headed our way. Right now we're seeing a little sun with a temperature near 40 degrees. Certainly much better weather to allow folks to clean up after yesterday's damage from the storms. And if you didn't have a chance to do it today, we're going to have decent weather into tomorrow to do just that. The winds right now out of the north and northwest at 13. Dew points on the low side in the teens as well. Check out the numbers right now. Franklin, you're only at 34. Clarion 36. Indiana at 37. Butler also in the upper 30s. Once you head down to Pittsburgh, we're right at 40 degrees here. Morgantown chilly down to 35 and Deep Creek at 27. So everybody feeling the chill tonight. We have high pressure building in. You can already see the clouds begin beginning to decrease. So as we head through the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see decreasing clouds. At the same time, we'll see lighter winds and falling temperatures. So by 9 o'clock, we're down to 29. By the morning rush tomorrow, we'll see sunshine, but you need your winter coat. 19 the low temperature at 7 a.m. Forecasting highs well below average. Typically, we see a high in the low 50s. Instead, tomorrow, down in the upper 30s at 39 degrees. Here's your extended forecast, the 5-day outlook. Dry with plenty of sunshine for Friday at 39. As we head towards Saturday, we'll be partly sunny. More clouds toward evening with a high near 40. Now, the next storm system, not a very strong one. It's well to the south of us, but it could be enough instability to give us a chance for some snow showers late Saturday night into Sunday. Then a little rain mixing in perhaps toward the afternoon with a high at 39. But even then, it's hit or miss activity at 30%. By Monday and Tuesday, we're back in the 40s and eventually getting up to the upper 40s as we head toward Tuesday with dry weather expected. Now back to you, David and Darius.
And Pittsburgh continues to shine as a hotspot for tourists and conventions. Visit Pittsburgh announced today they booked 472 meetings and conventions in 2010. They also anticipate these will bring in around $286 million into the city. Hotels also doing well, and they've seen a 15% increase in rooms sold since 2006.
Well, a lot of people may not have seen the tornado, but they did have hail.
That's right. We're checking with auto body shops that are already seeing cars that need to be repaired with damage. What you need to know if yours is one of them.
And we may be losing sleep thanks to our gadgets. Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor uncovers how computers, smartphones, all of those things may be keeping us up at night. Well, it seems the key to a good night's sleep may be putting that phone or computer away.
New research shows technology is shortening your bedtime. Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor here live to explain. Robin?
You know, it is so tempting to lounge in front of the TV or computer at night after a long day, but you probably didn't know those high-tech gadgets could prevent you from getting a good night's sleep.
Sleep just isn't a priority when you're in Las Vegas because of the bright lights and entertainment offered on the famous Strip. It's the same reason many of us don't get enough sleep in our own homes.
You begin to have a 24/7 culture of entertainment, and these technologies have invaded the bedroom.
A new National Sleep Foundation poll finds almost 2/3 of U.S. adults say they aren't getting enough sleep, less than 7 hours on the average weeknight. Why? Almost everyone in the survey said they often used some kind of electronic device in the hour before bedtime, like a TV, computer, video game, or cell phone. More than half of teenagers polled said they spent that time texting.
Instead of turning them off, they leave the things on in case an important message comes through, and guess what? Many times those messages are interrupting their sleep even after they've fallen asleep.
Experts say the artificial light emitted from gadgets stimulates our brains, so we're not physically ready to sleep when we're supposed to. The majority of sleep-deprived in the study said the lack of quality shut-eye left them fatigued, moody, and unable to perform at maximum capacity the next day.
Sleepiness also affected safe driving practices. About half the teens in the study said they'd driven while drowsy at least once in the past month. Robin Taylor, Channel 11 News.
All right, Robin, and the U.S. Postal Service announcing major job cuts as it deals with a decline in the number of people who actually use the mail. The USPS tells us it will eliminate 7,500 administrative and executive positions across the country. That includes about 2,000 postmasters. The Postal Service will also close 7 of its 75 district offices, none, though, in our immediate area. Well, police were able to track down a suspect who robbed a local family vacationing at Disney World.
And we learned how a stolen phone led to its owner and police right to the suspect.
The key to a good memory could be on your dinner plate. Right now, we'll show you the foods that will keep your brain healthy and find out how often you should eat them.
And continuing severe weather, Team 11 coverage of the storm strike with Chopper 11 over the affected areas. 60 more minutes of news is straight ahead.
Live, local, late breaking. Broadcasting in high definition. Channel 11 News starts with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
From Chopper 11, you really get a sense of just how big and devastating yesterday's tornado in Westmoreland County was. Many of the victims still trying to wrap their heads around all this destruction. Well, this afternoon, the National Weather Service confirmed it was a tornado that hit.
And now the cleanup is underway. Here's the latest. At least 90 homes are damaged in Westmoreland County. Nearly 36 of those homes destroyed. There are reports of some injuries, but most not serious. It will take weeks to clean up the debris, much longer before then everything returns to normal. Channel 11's Rick Earl continues our live Team 11 coverage with what we saw from Chopper 11 after the storm moved through yesterday. Rick?
Well, Derek, trees and debris are everywhere. Take a look behind me. This is a roof from a nearby business that was blown over here. But I want to show you something amazing. If you take a look about 500 yards up that hillside right there, you see a white object. That white object is actually the back part of a tractor trailer. It was actually down where I am, and then it was blown up there when the tornado came roaring through this area. Now, we've been showing you these images from the ground, but right now we want to give you an even better view from Chopper 11. Take a look at Chopper 11 over this home. Its entire roof ripped off in the tornado's path. Now this property gives you a good look at how the tornado went straight through a house, then tore through the trees in the backyard, uprooting them. And for some places, it was more than just a roof. Entire properties were demolished, just debris left behind. Those are the images from Chopper 11. Chopper 11, of course, providing you the best vantage point, showing you the force of this tornado as it tore through these areas here in Westmoreland County and hit a number of communities in a widespread path in a matter of minutes, leaving behind this debris and destruction that people are now having to clean up today. That's the very latest, reporting live near Arona. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
And one of the first pictures of the damage from the storm strike came in from Hempfield High School during our coverage last night at 5:30. The damage so bad, school was canceled today. Channel 11's Lori Hoy shows you what's being done to get the students back in the classrooms.
Disaster recovery teams have been out here at the high school all day. This parking lot was covered with debris, but workers have been collecting it and putting it in trash bins, but the work is far from over. A day after a tornado tore a path of destruction, the cleanup is underway at Hempfield High School.
Today, it's really a period of assessing.
All Hempfield area schools are closed because of the damage, but the high school took the brunt of the storm. We talked to a senior student who stopped by our truck. She was at play practice outside when the tornado hit.
We could hear the roof starting to come in, and we could just hear the hail, and we all ran underneath into a dressing room underneath the stage and just sat there, and the lights went out and all these alarms started going off. The fire alarm was going off. It was horrible.
When we arrived early in the morning, debris is scattered everywhere. The field house is in shambles. Cinder block columns knocked over like dominoes. And at the football field, a scoreboard is twisted metal, while a light pole is dangerously leaning.
It was so scary. You just could hear everyone crying and screaming and praying.
Maintenance trucks and contractors have been in and out nonstop. We've also seen state police on constant patrol. One trooper told me they're looking for looters who are trying to grab scraps of aluminum. Meanwhile, we were there as officials with the National Weather Service, along with the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, get a close-up look at this incredible damage and will determine the strength of the tornado.
No one countywide was injured. We have no fatalities. This is absolutely a March miracle.
And I really want to commend our staff and the students for their involvement in that, in seeing that no one is injured.
The superintendent told me he's also grateful for the outpouring of help from the community. In Hempfield, Westmoreland County, Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
And the tornado also hit Realton, about 10 miles away. We talked with one woman stuck in the path of the storm who grabbed her kids and ran for cover.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed. Just prayed. I'm so happy we're alive.
Ahead at 6, Courtney Brennan has more of this emotional interview and takes us in for a closer look at the damage here. Channel 11 viewers are giving us another perspective of the storm damage. This is a photo posted on WPXI's Facebook page of damage in Realton. This is near the Realton Fire Hall. You can see the strong wind snapped a tree there. Many people are already reaching out to help victims. We want to make sure that you have this phone number, You can donate to the Red Cross by calling 724-834-6510 during regular business hours. Again, the phone number to help out. You see it there on your screen, 724-834-6510. We also have a mailing address and a link under the links mentioned section at WPXI.com.
The big hailstorm also damaged part of the National Aviary building on the north side of Pittsburgh. We found crews there today fixing the skylights. 5 windows were shattered in one of the buildings that contains tropical birds.
A couple cases that totally shattered the panels. So we had glass on our walkway, we had glass in some of the exhibit spaces. It was significant damage, and it certainly spooked the birds.
Fortunately, none of the birds escaped. The exhibit remains closed for repairs, but should be back open by tomorrow. Our coverage of this major weather story continues online. There you can check out raw video of the storm, plus a slideshow of the storm snapshots. And new at 5:30, a Pittsburgh police officer gets thrown from his motorcycle near Station Square. Our crews at the scene tell us the officer was making a turn onto East Carson Street this afternoon when the sidecar clipped the curb. The officer wasn't seriously injured.
New details tonight on the murder of a worker at the waterfront. According to our partners at the Trib, a judge convicted 22-year-old Brandon Johnson of second-degree murder today. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. 19-year-old Brian Lee was helping close Damon's restaurant when he was shot and killed in 2008. A gunman targets a North Side bar. Police tell us the suspect held up Verdetto's bar on Madison Avenue early this morning. It's unclear what the man got away with. No one was hurt and no arrests have been made.
A former presidential hopeful gives his diagnosis on health care in America. The former chair of the Democratic National Committee, Howard Dean, spoke today at Carnegie Mellon University. His health care talk is driven by his current work as a health care consultant. Despite a touchy subject across party lines, his appearance attracted many students.
I think that there's a lot of different opinions across the board, but I think that most people are open-minded to hear what he has to say about what's happening.
Dean's talk is part of CMU's series on bringing important voices to different issues in America today.
More road work headaches for drivers using Route 28. PennDOT continues their single-lane closures in both directions near the Etna Route 8 interchange. This is in addition to the projects going on near Millville. The closures near Etna will occur weekdays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. as crews perform minor work. The project set to last through mid-April.
We've all heard the stories about what an iPhone can do.
Well, now it seems there's an app for solving crimes.
An iPhone saves a family vacation. How an app stops a thief in his tracks.
And if your car was damaged in the hailstorm yesterday, you're not alone. Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor shows us the steps you need to take to get it repaired. That's next.
And we're watching Wall Street. Here are today's closing numbers.
Auto body shops already seeing cars with hail damage from yesterday's storm, and they expect business to pick up as people start noticing the dents left behind from quart or even golf ball sized hail.
Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor is here now with what you need to know if your car was damaged. Robin.
Well, if you haven't taken a close look at your car, you may want to, because hail can really do a lot of damage. Some of it's very obvious. If you've got a broken windshield, you know that's got to be fixed. While some of the little dents and dings that I've seen can easily be overlooked, but if you've got a new car, they're going to need to be fixed. And this is probably not something you're going to want to pay for out of pocket, because repairs can run in the thousands of dollars. The first step is to contact your insurance company and then get an estimate from an auto body repair shop.
This hood can be repaired. It has some small dents in the front and some larger ones in the back, as you can see. Most of the hail damage doesn't really damage the paint too often. It's mainly just dented, but it still has to be refinished throughout the repairs.
Sometimes the dents can be pulled out, while other times the whole panel has to be replaced. It really just depends on the car and the amount of damage. I'm told the typical repair takes 2 to 3 days. Robin Taylor, Channel 11 News.
Tonight we're learning the disturbing details of a child abuse case.
A 2-month-old boy allegedly shaken so hard he's in the hospital. New at 6, we go to the suspect's house, and Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky uncovers the reason police say the suspect did it.
First, Channel 11's Jennifer Abney shows us the best foods to eat to boost your memory. plus why it could be even more important for women.
Mother Nature unfortunately not boosting that temperature here the next couple of days. I'll be back with your cooler than average forecast.
Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Julie Bologna has been designated a certified broadcast meteorologist by the American Meteorological Society.
With growing concern over Alzheimer's disease, many people are turning to pricey supplements to boost their memory. But here's some food for thought. The keys to preventing memory loss may be right in your refrigerator. Channel 11 News anchor Jennifer Abney shows us the foods you want to make sure you're eating.
I've uncovered the key to a good memory could be found in advice from Mom. Eat your veggies, especially cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and bok choy, cruciferous vegetables.
So we've got a lot of those here option-wise. Now, why is this good? A good brain food for us?
There have been some studies that have looked at cruciferous vegetables in women in particular having an impact on brain health.
They prevent oxidation, which causes damage to cells and can have a negative effect on functions like memory.
When you talk about working into the diet, how many times a week? How many servings?
Well, ideally it's looking at daily, but what is a serving? Of cabbage, it's not this. You don't have to eat the entire cabbage, not the serving. The serving is about the size of a fist.
This will be probably the easiest one for me to work in because I love salad.
You know, a lot of people like leafy greens, and you know, the fact of the matter is no effort involved. You buy it in a bag, you open up the bag, you use them.
And if you don't like salad, consider spinach, collard and mustard greens, kale and Swiss chard. You may also improve your eye and bone health. Next up, berries, beets, eggplant, red onions, red and purple grapes, and purple cabbage.
In addition to the brain health, they may also have an impact on lowering the risk of heart disease. They mimic the effect of the cholesterol-lowering medication. Big deal.
Wow, these are some power foods.
And they also are anti-inflammatory.
And an apple a day may in fact keep the doctor away.
When you bite into an apple, sometimes it tastes a little bit bitter. That's the quercetin that's in it. But quercetin is a substance that not only might have an impact on helping to keep this functioning a little bit better, it might also support a healthy immune system.
Batsy also recommends eating fish for its omega-3. You can try swordfish, halibut, salmon, and really any type of shellfish. Not only could they help fight memory loss, they can also improve heart health. Jennifer Abney, Channel 11 News.
And the nation's cinemas fighting a proposed federal rule to disclose calories in concession food. They say they should be exempt because customers don't go to the movies to eat. They go to watch movies and not to eat, I should say. The FDA says last summer they want nutritional information posted at grocery stores and concession stands in addition to restaurants. Vegetable prices shot up about 50% last month after the cold weather stunted tomato, lettuce, and other winter crops in the southern U.S. and Mexico. But crops that were planted after the freezing weather hit will arrive on the store shelf soon, and the renewed supply is expected to bring those prices back down.
Well, you may have noticed it's costing you a little more money to have your prescriptions refilled recently. According to Thomson Reuters Market Scan, prices for 15 best-selling drugs, including Lipitor, rose much faster in 2010 than each of the last 5 years. Analysts say drug companies are looking to make money on drugs before their patents expire. Now, we have a recall alert to tell you about tonight. Millions of box fans are being pulled off the shelves tonight because they're a possible fire hazard. Nearly 5 million fans by Lasco products can have an electrical failure. The affected models were sold between July 2002 and December 2005. No one has been hurt, but 7 fires have been reported. If you have one of these affected units, you want to contact the company, Lasco. We have a link with more information posted at our website at WPXI.com. Just look under links mentioned. A tense moment this morning as a big rig dangles over the edge of a highway overpass. This was the scene in Fort Worth, Texas this morning. The driver had to be rescued by a firefighter who was strapped to the fire truck's ladder. He was treated for minor injuries. Crews also had to rescue 2 others trapped in their vehicle underneath the truck.
Well, smartphones can do a lot of things.
From listening to music to keeping tabs on your bills. Next, hear how iPhone apps are saving local families vacations and helping police track down a suspect.
Something you see on TV that you'd never imagine in a million years would happen to you.
And new at 6, a family's narrow escape from the tornado will take you inside their home.
And it hit right here.
Yeah, and it went straight through there.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Rick Earl talks to a man who ran for cover but still had a close call.
Looking for a suspect? Turns out there's an app for that.
Yeah, and police were able to track down a man they say robbed a local family vacationing at Disney World. Channel 11's Jodine Costanzo shows us how.
It was the perfect vacation for Dave Longstreth and his family, a trip to Disney World visiting Mickey and the gang. One afternoon, the Oakmont family decided to spend a day here at the hotel pool, and that's where their diaper bag that had 2 iPhones, camera, money, and credit cards was stolen as they swam.
My heart sank. I just had this pit in my stomach and a moment of panic.
So at that point, it appeared Dave's family vacation was headed for disaster. But with the help of his iPhone, he sprung into action and was able to play detective.
From his computer, Dave was able to activate an iPhone app called Find My iPhone.
And my phone showed up right here on this boat dock.
Through a GPS tracking system, Dave knew his phone was close by. He ran down to this boat dock where he saw a man that looked suspicious. Security was summoned, but the suspect got onto a ferry boat headed for the Magic Kingdom. Dave and police gave chase in another boat.
The phone shows up 400 yards off the dock where the boat is, so we're like, that's definitely the guy.
This amazing technology helped police arrest David Bain of Orlando as he got off the ferry. Inside his backpack were the stolen goods.
You can replace things, but you can't replace the pictures. You can't replace the memories that you took pictures of. I'm glad that we got it all back.
Dave says the software to access this app cost him about $100, a small price to pay for saving his family vacation.
It was really incredible, that technology.
In Oakmont, Jodine Costanzo, Channel 11 News.
And odds are your next car will have a video camera inside. Federal transportation officials tell our Washington bureau they'll likely soon require backup cameras in all new cars sold in the U.S. starting in the year 2014. Nearly 300 people, many of them small children, have been killed in the past year in back-over accidents. Safety advocates say the large blind spots in the new bigger SUVs and trucks are a cause of that.
A couple gets hitched in the same place they had their first date, the local roller rink. Shelley Everett and Travis Rogers were married yesterday at the Seneca skating rink near Oil City. Rogers told the local newspaper that he just wanted to do something special rather than a traditional church wedding. Both now live in Virginia Beach, where Rogers is in the Navy. The two are expecting their first child in September.
A tornado carves a path of destruction 7 miles long.
Live Team 11 coverage at 6 starts right now.
One day after a tornado touches down, victims share stories of survival.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed. Just prayed.
Antenna flew off the telephone pole up here and come straight at me and went through the shed here.
Our Scott Harbaugh surveys the damage with the National Weather Service and shows us how they rate the storm.
When you look at the damage, what exactly are you looking for?
We go to the home where a baby was hurt, and we obtained the documents that show this was no accident.
Suspected copper thieves caught in the act. You won't believe how they were discovered.
Live, local, late breaking. Now broadcasting in high definition. This is Channel 11 News. News coverage you can count.
She says, go down the cellar, there's a tornado coming. She says, go now, and she was screaming, now, now.
Oh, that's so sick.
It's the day after a tornado touchdown. 24 hours after the violent storm, we're getting a better view of the damage from the winds that destroyed homes and turned lives upside down. It's amazing we've only heard of a handful of injuries from the storm, too.
Yeah, it is amazing, especially after we've been out in Westmoreland County surveying the damage. We have live Team 11 coverage for you with crews in the areas hit the hardest by this tornado. We begin tonight with Courtney Brennan and the devastation that she's found. Courtney?
Darieth, I am standing inside the Dilly's home in the neighborhood of Fort Allen. They were supposed to move into this house this weekend, but as you can see, only half of the home is still standing. The kitchen and the living rooms are exposed, and all the devastation that surrounds us is just awful. And as people in this neighborhood were cleaning up, another neighborhood was cleaning up as well, because they too were right in the tornado's path.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed. Just prayed. I'm so happy we're alive. It was terrible.
A nightmare for Robin Aaron and her family. Mother Nature's fury swiftly demolished their Rilton home. Trees snapped in half around them. Winds ripped off one of the brick walls, and steel beams slashed through everything that was still standing.
Something you see on TV that you'd never imagine in a million years would happen to you.
It happened to this entire neighborhood in Swickley Township. Roofs were ripped off, siding was pulled away. A two-story game room is now just a pile of wood. In the distance, we noticed that someone's boat had even been thrown across this field.
It was like the Wizard of Oz. You could see things just flying in the air, just flying. And we have a pole through our garage. A garage door, a metal pole went right through our metal garage door.
One of the most incredible sights here along General Braddock Road is the amount of stuff that was blown from these homes and is now caught in the woods. Children's toys, their clothes, pieces of furniture, and family heirlooms. One homeowner led us inside where we saw his family's life torn apart. The living room and kitchen are just a shell of what they used to be. It resembles the neighborhood outside that now looks almost like a war zone where fires burn to get rid of the debris. Through all of it, though, everyone was mindful of the true lesson learned.
People take life for granted, and they never should.
Amidst all this destruction and sadness, there were actually looters in these neighborhoods today. People that went to these homes and said they were with construction crews and there to clean up. But then people noticed that they were only picking up pieces of scrap metal. And so they notified the police, and then the police eventually kicked them out. Reporting live in Fort Allen, Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
And cleanup efforts will be ongoing for weeks in Fort Allen. We found house after house damaged or destroyed, yards covered with debris and uprooted trees. We're still waiting to learn if there will be a class at Hempfield area schools. The tornado left a hole in the roof there. The football field also took a beating. Crews are still cleaning up that area tonight.
Now, we've been showing you video of the tornado as it was forming, and tonight we know exactly where it touched down and how much ground it covered and how powerful it really was. According to the National Weather Service, this twister covered 6 to 7 miles starting in Rilton. From there, it moved east, touching down sporadically in places like Arona before crossing Route 136 and causing some damage at the Hempfield High School. It then moved to nearby Fort Allen. Channel 11's Scott Harbaugh walked with the National Weather Service crew as they toured the damage firsthand.
Just think of the numbers of this tornado, 6 to 7 miles long. It started in Rilton, made it all the way out to Fort Allen before finally lifting back up into the sky. That's a 6 to 7 mile path, nearly 300 yards wide at its widest point. 90 homes damaged, 30 of those completely destroyed. But they're looking for telltale signs. They're looking for specific things to tell whether it was straight line wind damage or tornado. I had a chance to spend some time with Fred McMullen from the National Weather Service. He's the warning coordination meteorologist, and we walked around and just talked about what things in particular they're looking for when they're trying to assess tornado damage.
Is it all following cyclonically? When I say that, counterclockwise, do all the trees kind of curve going the same direction, from right to left? And what we see that here with the trees kind of all coming this direction here. And so what happens is that gives us an idea where the tornado tracks. The tornado tracked just immediately to the right of where these trees came down. So over in that field right there is where the center of the tornado will go, but the damage is always on the left-hand side.
I often hear people say, hey, we're protected. It's Western Pennsylvania. We've got the hills, we've got the rivers. Ask the people in Fort Allen how protected we are. This is a very hilly area. It's not the ridges of the eastern part of Westmoreland County, but we've got big elevation shifts over here. We've got rivers, we've got streams, and we have 90 houses that are damaged and 30 houses that are completely destroyed. A reminder that nowhere is safe from a tornado. In Westmoreland County, Scott Harbaugh, Channel 11 News.
And Chopper 11 went neighborhood to neighborhood surveying the damage. We found homes and businesses in ruins along Edna Road in Westmoreland County. This one of the hardest hit areas. And we want to give you a look at this before and after picture of the Columbia Gas building there. You see it suffered significant damage last night. Well, Target 11's Rick Earl's been in that area all day talking to victims of the storm. And now, Rick, we're hearing victims of the looters, right?
Yeah, David, talk about disturbing. How about that? One shop owner told us that he actually came back to his business this morning because there were reports that people were stealing screwdrivers and hammers from his shop here, so he came back to secure it. Now, this area here near Arona suffered a lot of damage. Take a look at this. This is what you see all over the place. Lumber like this litters yards here. You can take a look to my right there. You see this huge tree uprooted, trees uprooted, homes torn apart. As one resident told me, what took a lifetime to build destroyed in a matter of seconds.
I bought this property when I was 18. I built this building to retire to have my shop in, and it's gone.
Chris Masser is picking up the pieces at his shop on Edna Road. The tornado ripped the roof right off it. On top of that, there were more problems Thursday morning.
I didn't even want to come here this morning, but I got a call that there was looting going on. People walking off with hammers and tools.
The tornado cut a path of destruction along Edna Road, flipping trailers, ripping roofs, knocking down trees and power lines. The fields are littered with debris, the trees that are still standing covered with insulation. What's left of a metal shed wrapped around a tree branch.
When you come down into this valley, it really is amazing. It just looks like total destruction.
Allison Davies rode out the storm in her basement as it blew out her windows.
Stood in a doorway while everything was whirling around.
And incredible stories of survival are emerging, like this man who sought cover in a wooden shed. He then dove for cover when the metal antenna from the roof of his house came flying right at him. It's coming at you like this?
Yeah, like a bullet. Coming right at you.
Right at you?
Yeah, straight at me, and I slammed the door shut.
And it hit right here?
Yeah, and it went straight through there.
That is unbelievable.
Yep.
Man, you're a lucky guy.
Yeah, I'd say God was on my side.
The sound of chainsaws pierced the air as people began the difficult task of cleaning up and rebuilding.
I am amazed that no one was seriously injured. I mean, that's the best thing about it, but I mean, it's a lot of cleaning up. It's going to take a long time.
A long time indeed. The cleanup well underway here. Amazingly, as that woman said, only a handful of minor injuries. One of those happened here at the Columbia Gas Building. You're looking at a live picture of the roof here. We understand 10 people were in that building when the roof was torn off yesterday afternoon. And when that happened, one worker inside was hit in the head with flying debris, suffered a concussion, a minor concussion. I'm told that worker is going to be okay. That is the very latest reporting live near Arona. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
No tornado in Fayette County, but there is still damage. A viewer sent us this picture of a tree that landed on top of a home. On WPXI.com, you can watch all of our chopper video or take another look at the video of the funnel cloud caught on camera. We also have slideshows of the damage from all over the area. And now the big weather story is cold. Julie is working on a forecast that has low temperatures in the 30s when we should really be in the 50s.
And also tonight, a Crafton father faces charges that he badly hurt his own baby. Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky has been working this story for 2 days now and is live with the charges today. Renee?
Dave, the arrest came overnight. The first thing I did this morning was grab the criminal complaint. I've read it cover to cover, and I have to tell you, it is one of the worst cases of child abuse I've ever read. According to police, the father's story for harming his son, severely injuring him, was that the boy was crying. No one answered my knock at the Stewart family's Crafton home, no surprise, since Neil Stewart is in jail for breaking his son's leg and shaking him so hard the infant's brain began to bleed. The 2-month-old boy is in critical condition tonight at UPMC Children's Hospital with devastating injuries he suffered, police say, on Monday. A broken thigh bone, fractured knee, and bleeding on the brain. According to this criminal complaint, Stewart told the doctors he accidentally dropped the baby from more than 5 feet in the air onto hardwood floor inside the family's home in Crafton. Allegheny County police investigators say Stewart concealed the incident, did not tell his wife or medical personnel he dropped the baby for some 20 hours. It was after 2 separate trips to Children's Hospital, one to this Green Tree Emergency Clinic and one to Ohio Valley Hospital, that Stewart revealed his role. It gets worse. Stewart told police he had violently shaken the baby, shook him hard 7 times, and that he leaned into the child's body with his hands using his full weight, all because he said his son would not stop crying. Neil Stewart is in the Allegheny County Jail tonight. He is held on $10,000 bond. He must see a psychiatrist before he will be able to post that bond. Meantime, his son remains in Children's Hospital tonight. His condition is not available. Reporting live, I'm Renee Kaminsky, Channel 11 News.
We've brought you a lot of stories lately about people stealing copper.
But none quite like this. Coming up, the crime that put lives at risk.
And a prostitution bust with a surprising suspect. Next, a former officer on the wrong side of the law. Caught with copper. Chaos unfolds when two people discover someone stealing from them. And police say the suspects even tried to run over the victims to get away. But as Channel 11's Tamika Artist explains from Fayette County, they didn't get very far.
Right here is where police say those men were caught red-handed trying to load the stolen copper into their pickup truck. And police tell me that this probably was not their first time.
That there's just copper wire out of like the interior of cars. That's not the same stuff they're stealing. What they're stealing is a lot thicker and worth a lot more.
But even in scrap pieces, this could easily entice someone looking to make a quick buck.
Price of scrap went up, and it's easy pickings for people who don't want to work. And it's something easy to steal and turn into cash.
It's been going on for a while. And I did hear you said they caught someone, so I'm happy about that.
State police say they have finally caught up with two men who've been targeting junkyards and homes all across the Dunbar Borough in Fayette County. 38-year-old Jimmy Link and 21-year-old Travis Burnsworth were arrested in this old lumber yard last Sunday. Workers at the store across the street tell me their boss and another man were almost run over when they tried to stop the suspects from driving off with a truckload of stolen copper wiring.
Well, I think that's horrible. Why would you run someone over for a few dollars of copper?
The men survived. The suspects arrested on the spot. One neighbor who did not want us to show her face thinks the same guy stole copper from her friend's house last year.
Well, it's frustrating because you don't ever know when they're going to try to break in your house.
The owner of Butch Go's Salvage Yard is relieved about the arrest, but says there needs to be more.
It'd be nice if the district attorney and the judicial system punished them a little bit more than slapping them on the fingers and they're out in a week doing it again.
Both suspects are being held right now at the Fayette County Jail, and we're told that there could be more arrests on the way. In Dunbar, I'm Tamika Artist, Channel 11 News.
Now to a story you saw first on 11. A man will stand trial in the robbery at a home in Denora earlier this month. Kyle Fisher is charged with robbery and aggravated assault. He was also charged in kidnapping charges, but those were dropped in today's hearing. Police say Fisher and another man broke into the home thinking no one was there. When the owners confronted them, the men allegedly held guns to their heads and demanded money.
Cooking up trouble. Police raid a suspected meth lab in Apollo and find a suspect and a child living inside. Investigators in protective suits descended on North 6th Street. In a home there early this morning, they collected bags and bags of evidence. They also arrested this man, Brandon Watterson, who's said to be the mastermind of this operation. We talked with a neighbor who's relieved to see police make this bust.
If there were drugs in there, you're obviously glad they got them out of there.
Yep, because of my grandchildren, yeah.
Watterson is currently in the Armstrong County Jail. The child is now in protective custody.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast in high definition.
Good evening. Much quieter out there right now compared to this time last night when the severe weather and tornadic activity was occurring. But here's a few more details about that tornado in Hempfield Township, Westmoreland County. In EF2 with top wind speeds at 120 miles per hour. That path of destruction about 6 to 7 miles, but only on the ground for 1 to 2 miles of that path. Now, on average, Pittsburgh sees about 4 to 5 tornadoes a year. This was the first for the season, and the last time Westmoreland County saw a tornado was December 1st, 2006. What we're tracking tonight, much quieter weather. Clouds on the decrease, much colder temperatures for us here the next several days as we're looking for lows in the teens and highs only in the 30s to near 40. Typically, we should be in the 50s. Rain and snow, possibility later Saturday night into Sunday with our next storm system. Much quieter on Storm Tracker Doppler and radar. No rainfall or snowfall in sight tonight. Not expecting it here for the next couple of days. I am expecting, though, a big drop in temperatures. Just to compare, yesterday at Pittsburgh International, the high was 69 degrees. Today, only near 40. Keep in mind the average is about 53 over the course of yesterday through the next couple of days. Now on Friday, I'm forecasting highs highs only in the upper 30s, similar towards Saturday and Sunday. So the numbers well below average for this time of the year. Right now outside at the airport, it's 39 degrees with a westerly northwesterly wind at 14, keeping our wind chills in the low 30s. Current temperature, Butler, you're at 37 degrees right now. Franklin, you're at the freezing mark at 32. Clarion at 35. Around Pittsburgh, it's 39. Somerset, you're at the freezing mark. And Deep Creek, you're below freezing at 27. So you can see that the clouds are beginning to decrease as high pressure well to the north and west of us moves in. So what that means for us overnight, decreasing clouds, lighter winds, and falling temperatures. Look at Storm Tracker. 10 o'clock tonight, just a few clouds out there. We'll start Friday off with sunshine and very chilly temperatures. By 8 a.m. we'll see lows in the teens. Throughout the day we'll see a few high thin clouds, but all in all it's going to be a pretty nice and bright day. Once we hit into the weekend, we'll start off with sunshine Saturday, and then later Saturday night into Sunday that next disturbance rolls through, giving us a chance for some rain and snow showers. So your forecast, 19 that low with mostly clear skies overnight. High temperature tomorrow right at 39 degrees and mostly sunny. Your 5-day forecast, Saturday partly sunny at 40. Chance for snow showers later Saturday night to Sunday. A little rain may mix in at times in the afternoon Sunday, but still it's hit or miss at 30%. Sunshine Monday and Tuesday, still below average, but getting better by Tuesday at 47 for the high. Now back to you, David and Darieth.
All right, Julie, thanks. We've seen prices go up on a lot of things lately.
And now even a trip to the zoo. Up next, we'll show you what it's going to cost you to see the animals. It will soon cost you more if you want to visit the Pittsburgh Zoo. Admission prices for the zoo and PPG Aquarium will go up $1 on April 1st. Adult tickets will run you $14 and seniors will get in for $13. Children 2 to 13 will cost $12. Parking, though, is still free.
Now, the Supercuts Sports Report.
Good evening. The Penguins are still chasing the Flyers, but they'll go head-to-head tonight for the 5th time this season. The Flyers have won 3 of the first 4 games between the two teams this season, but the Pens have a chance to pull closer in the division. Pittsburgh goes into the game 5 points behind Philly with only 10 games remaining till the playoffs. The Pens know how important it is to pull closer.
We know we only have 2 against them left. We need to do all we can to catch them. We can't really, help if we go from 1st to 4th or 3rd to 4th or 5th or whatever it is. We have to make sure we can try and catch Philly. It's a huge game for us. We need to carry the momentum and try to have our best game of the year right now.
Isn't that the goal, to win every game? How can you put more emphasis on winning games than they're in front of us? We're trying to catch them. They're a big rival of ours, and we'll need the 2 points.
Well, will Flyers goalie Sergei Bobrovsky be back at his game tonight? That's a good question. Might be a little fragile because earlier this week he gave up 3 goals on 9 shots and was pulled from the game against the Caps. The Flyers are approaching this game like it's a playoff game.
This is a good test for us. They're playing good hockey. We're playing good hockey, so it should be a good matchup. And, like I said, for us, I want to see us play well and skate work and play really a playoff hockey here.
According to a report in Forbes magazine, the Pirates had a profit of $25 million last year. That can buy a lot of fireworks. Clint Hurdle has named his opening day starter. Kevin Correa will start at the Cubs a week from tomorrow. Correa talked to us earlier in spring training, and he told Bill Phillips he was optimistic about the Bucs rotation.
There's a lot of talent, a lot of young guys with a lot of talent, and it's just, I saw them pitch quite a bit, and they had some success last year, and that's huge coming into a season like this. That just helps. As soon as they get that confidence, we can really get on a roll, and I think this is going to be a pretty good pitching staff.
Well, here's the rotation as we speak. Correa will start at Chicago in the season opener a week from tomorrow. Paul Maholm will start after that. Maholm will also start the home opener on April 7th. Ross Ollendorf will be the 3rd guy in the rotation, followed by Charlie Morton, who will start things off in St. Louis, and then James McDonald, who's been battling injuries. He will be the 5th starter for now and pitch that 2nd game at St. Louis. And that's sports. I'm Albie Oxenrider.
And a star returns to the National Aviary.
Next, a bird makes a remarkable recovery to soar once again. A big star returns to her perch at the aviary.
The bald eagle making a huge recovery and is back on display for all to see. Abby. That's her name. Abby spent the last 9 weeks in intensive care due to multiple infections and a poor appetite. Vets say it was a tough road back, nursing her back to health, but today, despite her age, Abby's as strong as ever.
She has made a complete recovery, and all of her recent recheck tests are completely normal now. Even though she's an older bird, she is in really good health after recovering from these infections.
Very strong-looking bird. Despite some damage to yesterday to the facility there from yesterday's storms, Abby was returned to her exhibit.
She's quite majestic.
Yes.
Yeah. NBC Nightly News is next.
See you later on Fox 53 and 10, and back here tonight for 11 and 11.
Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.